Good morning and welcome, students. We are very happy to be with you this morning to talk to you about the fieldwork and dissertation component of the program of study, Master's Program in Rural Development. Many of you were already students with us for a long period in the postgraduate diploma program in rural development. Based on your own request and the need felt by various players in the rural development sector, IGNOU has started the MA program in rural development. You are already in the second year of the course and you are already preparing for your final year examination. Today we are here to once again help you to understand the what, why and how of a project work, the need for conducting a research work in rural development, and the strategies that are involved in the completion of your project report. While giving you the materials for the particular course, we had already supplied to you a program guide along with the printed materials for the first year. Once again, I request all of you to go through the program guide, because the program guide is an essential material which gives you all the information about how to go about doing your program of study in rural development, including that of project work. Now, project work in rural development is a compulsory component, and we have given importance and high weightage to it. You will see that we have given 12 credits to this particular course. That means all other courses which you are doing for MA in rural development, all those courses have only 6 credits, and in the dissertation you are given 12 credits. So double weightage is given for this particular course, and we expect that all of you understand the seriousness of this particular program of study, the course that is there in MA in rural development. We have also provided you one blog, that is MRDP 001. Now, in this blog we are given all the importance and the criteria that are needed for you to complete the project work. Today we shall be discussing details about this particular blog and the details that we are given in this. And when we talk about project work in rural development, the first thing that you will notice is the fieldwork component. Unlike other courses of IGNOU, rural development is an interdisciplinary subject, and there was a lot of debate about why 12 credits are given to MRDP 001. We want every student to visit rural areas, because if you are going out with a degree MA in rural development and if you have not visited a rural area, do you really feel honored to have that kind of a degree, MA in rural development, without even seeing a village? And that's why we have made it compulsory that each and every student of MA in rural development must visit villages in India, interact with the people, understand various issues pertaining to them. It's not that the people living in the villages are all poor. In fact, some of the richest people in India belong to the rural areas, and some of the landowners, they own thousands and thousands of acres of land. So you should not be carried away with the feeling that people living in the villages or in the rural areas are by and large poor. That's a wrong notion. So through this project, we want you to go to the villages, interact with the people, take up issues pertaining to rural life. It can be on health related areas, it can be on education, on welfare, on local self-government, on Panchayat Raj, anything that you call under the sun, everything can be covered under the rural setting. Therefore, please make sure that go through this MRDP block 001 as well as a program guide, and then move forward to do your project work. In rural development, when you talk about project work, it is combined with the field work. So you will be collecting data on the topic that you have chosen. In order to collect data, you have to have certain tools ready with you. So if you are going to dig a well, you will have some tools with you to dig the well. Same way, to collect data, you have to have several tools like the interview schedule, observation guide, interview guide, and things like that. So in this program, we'll try to deal with all those aspects in the 2 sessions that we shall have this morning. Now before I go further, I would request my colleague with me here, Dr. Gurupada Saran, to speak to you about the objectives of project work in rural development. Dr. Saran.
Thank you, Professor Thomas. I would like to elaborate the various objectives of this dissertation in rural development. Already you have studied the 004 research methods in rural development. Basically, you have studied the various theories involved in rural development, especially in research, how to go about and what sort of outcome is coming out. The main objectives are to get acquainted with the rural situation where people are living with various problems, facing about education, health, and various related problems which they are facing in day-to-day activities. To help you to choose a topics which keeps your interest as well as which helps the rural people to get something out of that. To gain the practical knowledge required in preparing project proposal, through which you will learn what you have learned in research methods, that is in 004. Here you can apply all these techniques, tools, what you have learned already. Here assist to conduct empirical research. These are the main objectives of this fieldwork dissertation. Besides this, it will help you to enable to write down a good project report, which already you will be going through to conduct the research in the rural setup. Besides this, there are specific objectives in relation to conduct the research in rural setting. First of all, choose a suitable topics for a dissertation. Here I would like to request you to consult your supervisor. You should decide your topics of your chosen, which the supervisor will guide you for betterment of the research outcome. To develop a research design for conducting the study. Here you have to develop a research design to conduct the study which already you have chosen the topics. Then describe by way of brief statement the problem or issues already you are going to address. Then identify the objectives of your study which already you have chosen of your topics. It could be in health, in health, it could be on education or local self-governance, like that. Identify the geographical area or local of your study. In which location you want to conduct the study. First of all, you have to identify. Then develop a framework of your sampling. Then preparation of tools for data collection based on your fieldwork, based on your objectives and hypotheses already you have given in your research project. Then help you in actual data collection through fieldwork, where you will use the interview schedule, observation, participant observation, case study and various other methods. Then scrutinize the data collected. You have to scrutinize the collected data from the rural setup. Then develop a code book for data entry, which already you have collected the raw data in the form of interview schedule. Now you have to convert it into a coded, or which can be done through various computer application also. Then train you in actual data entry, that could be in manual or computer. Then tabulate data and do to statistical calculation. Then develop a draft chapter. In developing chapter for the students, it should be 4 to 6 chapters of the whole study of the report. Then finalize your draft chapter in consultation with your supervisor, where supervisor can guide you in better way which part of the chapter should be finalized or which is irrelevant, that can be deleted from your chapter. Then to conduct a proofreading, binding and submission of the thesis. These are the specific objectives of the study, specific objectives of the dissertation, which you have to keep in mind that when you are going to conduct a research study, and these are the broad objectives you have to keep in mind for conducting the research study of your fieldwork.
Well, students, you have already heard about the various objectives of MRDP 001. And one important thing that you have to keep in mind is that in order to do the project work, you will be given a guide. Now, if you are doing a research, you alone cannot do it. You need someone who is an expert in the field to help you out. You may be knowing about people doing PhD, that is Doctor of Philosophy. Usually that program is taken up only after doing a master's program, and PhD is always done under the guidance of a supervisor. Same way, this is also a study at the master's level, in which you need the guidance of a supervisor. Therefore, please contact the coordinator in your study center and ask him or her to provide you a guide who will guide you in conducting the research in rural development. Very often, your own academic counselor who is taking classes for you in rural development will be assigned to you as your guide. one important thing that you need to keep in mind is that it is possible that a couple of you are from the same study center working under the same supervisor, and some of you may be motivated to go in groups to the same village, collect data on the same topic and come out with a dissertation. And if you do that, very often there is also a tendency of similarity. It can also end up in copying one another's work, which will add you into problem. Therefore, we want you to take different topics. It can be from the same area, but we want you to take different topics so that you don't land up into problem. At the same time, you are able to study a particular problem and you own it. Because when you talk about dissertation or a project work, what do you mean by a project work? It is an indirect and enabling process to help you to acquire fresh information, new information on a particular topic and various aspects pertaining to that. So when you do a study, the end result of the study, the findings of the study are your own. You own the authorship of that. That's why in PhD thesis, you are expected to come out with certain findings which are of your own. You own it and you will be quoted. So even at MA level, you can do that. Now, giving a project work at the MA level does not mean that it is not an important aspect. We have said that it is 12 credits, and for us 1 credit is 30 hours of study, and 12 credits would mean 360 hours of study or hours of work. In other words, you will have to put in 72 full days of work. 72 full days of work of 24 hours each. Then only you will be able to complete this particular dissertation. So it's a huge task that is before you. Now, as Mr. Soren told you about the various objectives, the kind of challenges that are involved, the steps that are there, that alone speaks volumes about the extensive involvement that you need to put in to complete this project. For that, we have also given you MRD 004, which is a 6-credit course on research methods in rural development. And that particular course we have given you in the first year of your MA program, because doing that MRD 004 on research methodology will give you the necessary inputs to conduct successfully any research in the area of rural development. There are 4 blocks. Many of you have already given the exam, and in those we have talked about all the details about rural development research, the various strategies that are to be used, importance of statistical analysis, details about how to write report. Therefore, what you have studied as a theory paper in the first year, you will be doing the practical component in the second year. Now, as I said in the beginning, when you talk about what is a project, it's an enabling process, an indirect way of finding out fresh information on a particular issue and then bringing it out with your own suggestions and recommendations for improvement or further action on that issue. Therefore, it is a research. Well, we have heard many things about the rural areas and rural people on paper, on TV, or through word of mouth. mouth. Now, out of that, when you choose a topic, many of us are told that people in the rural areas are less educated. Now, to be literate and to be educated means two different things. If you want to find out the details, you will have to embark on a study, go and meet people, talk to them, understand about their level of understanding, how much of education do they have, or is it they only know reading and writing. So that will give you a lot of input into the social life, the education life, and the socio-economic aspect of people living in rural areas. So it's a systematic method of collecting data and understanding various facts about rural development. As Mr. Saran told you, you will be collecting data, you will be tabulating it, and then you will come out with the findings. Usually when we talk about, for example, population in a country, it is taken for granted that the number of male and female in a society, in a community, in a country, in a state could be almost 50-50. Now that's what we have been told, or that's what we imagine. Now if you really want to know the actual fact, you have to conduct a study. And that's why the government of India conducts a census of the people in India once in 10 years. So the last study was conducted in 2001, and the data is available with the ministry as well as it is on the website, the National Census Survey. If you look into that, you will find the female population in the country is for every 1,000 male, the female population is 935. That means about 65 females are missing for every 1,000 male in the country. So if you say that almost 50% are male or female each, that's the wrong information. Same way, we'll get details about child mortality rate, status of women, the percentage of scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, details about the literacy rate of people, and many similar things. So once we have those details before us, it becomes easy for us to plan programs targeting at those people. For example, this national census will keep telling us whether the literacy rate among the people in India has gone up, or it is stable, or it has declined. So based on that, the Planning Commission, the planners in the country are able to focus on that particular aspect in the 5-year plans, and accordingly budgets are being made, approvals are given from the center as well as to the states, and then programs are implemented so that you are able to address on that particular issue for the overall growth of our people in our country. So the outcome of a particular research will lead us to come out with some kind of a solution for the problems that we are encountering. Now the main question is when to start a project work. According to us, you must start the project work in the first year itself, and that's why we are supplying all the materials, particularly MRD 004 pertaining to research methods, in the first year itself, so that you mentally prepare based on the theoretical knowledge that you have so that you are able to concentrate on a particular topic, talk to people, and get ready for your village visit, perhaps after giving the examination in the first year of your MA Rural Development. And as I said in the beginning, read the program guide again and again, read MRD 004 and MRDP 001 regularly, so that nothing is missed out and you are well prepared for your dissertation. The first thing when you talk about doing a research is a selection of topic. So when you read MRDP 001, we have already given you plenty of topics in that. Over 200 topics we are given in this particular booklets. So that will help you out in choosing a kind of a topic of your interest. We have given something like 192 topics in this. That doesn't mean that you need to choose one of that only. That gives you a kind of an idea about the enormous area, the extensiveness of the topic, and something based on your local area pertaining to this broad-based area you may choose, and then conduct the study. So once you have chosen the topic, then again we have given the guidelines how to prepare a project proposal. Again you need to discuss with your guide in the study center. So the guide will give you, apart from the guidelines that we have already provided in the print material, about how to prepare the project proposal. In this MRDP 001 we have already given a model project proposal. Do not copy that. That's only to give you some kind of a guideline. We might have prepared a very small example within about 1 or 2 pages, but when you prepare a project proposal, it should be about 5 to 10 pages in writing. And the first thing is the title. The title has to be as short as possible and specific, so that the title, reading the book, you don't find one paragraph as a title when you buy the book or when you go to the library to see a book. Now if you feel that some focus has to be given on a specific area, that can come as a subtitle. So that also we are given examples in the blog. So that by looking at the topic, anyone can understand what this study is all about. And then the second most important thing is understanding of the problem, the issue, the aspect on which you are going to do the study. That's what we call statement of the problem. The statement of the problem has to be written in about 3 to 4 pages. The importance, the nature, why do you want to do a study on that topic, how many people have already done similar studies in that area, why you think that topic is necessary in your locality. Give out those reasons and come out with the broad objectives of your study in this particular statement of the problem. So that will give a kind of a conviction. Yes, this is a topic that needs to be explored, that we need to study a lot on that. So why don't we embark on a study based on that topic? And then meet the coordinator at the study center or your academic counselor, discuss the proposal with him. If need be, you may have to improve it and submit it to him for his approval. So the proposal that we make for MRDP 001 is to be approved by the counselor at the study center. It should not be sent to us in IGNOU in Delhi, not to the regional center. You have to personally meet the academic counselor and he is authorized to approve the research proposal. The only condition that we place is that once you do your study, once you have completed the dissertation, when you are binding the dissertation and submitting it, this copy, original copy of the research proposal should be attached with the dissertation, so that the people who are evaluating your dissertation will know what kind of a proposal that you have made and go about evaluating it based on the kind of objectives that you have set forth. Now, preparation of the project proposal is based on the kind of guidelines which is already given in this particular handbook. Then you take the approval from the supervisor. Then you will be conducting the study. Now, for conducting the study, again you have to prepare the tools. As I said in the beginning, very often we prepare an elaborate interview schedule, because this is a study which has to be done with a face-to-face contact with people. So an interview schedule will have plenty of questions which you have to explain to the villagers. So you cannot simply go and give them something which is written in a particular language, for example in English, which many villagers will not be able to understand. So you may have to get it translated. You may have to sit with them, read out each question and take out their answer and then fill up. So it is time consuming. That's why we said 72 days of full work or 360 hours of work. That's a long period that you need to put in. So do not rush through. And the more you talk to the people, the more you will be able to understand about their feelings, their attitudes, their own viewpoints, and the actual issues and problems that they face. Then your study becomes more meaningful and you will be able to give appropriate suggestions. And then you need to have different chapters and go for writing the manuscript based on the kind of a dissertation that you have. And once you have completed that, you give to the guide. The guide will go through that, give you necessary guidance for improvement, and once the guide has cleared the text, you may have to get it typed, computer typed or on a typewriter, and send to us just one copy, not 2 copies. And that copy has to be sent to the registrar in SR&D division at IGNOU headquarters in Delhi. All those details are given in MRDP 001 as well as in the program guide. Addresses are also given there. So you are not expected to send 2 copies. Again, what we have found is that many students keep the original copy with them and send us a photocopy. With the computer facilities available, you can always have very good fresh printouts. Therefore, it is suggested that you send us the original copy and keep an additional copy with you. Now I will request Mr. Soren to talk to you about the importance of selection of topic and other details.
Yes, selection of the topics is very important in regards to conduct the study of your fieldwork. First and foremost important thing is to choose the topics. It's very important because it will guide you to conduct your research towards the outcome. Here some of the factors which play an important role to conduct the research, like suitability of the topics. Suitability of the topics means it has to be suited to you, that means students, and as well as the rural setting. Is it relevant to the rural setup? is it keep your interest to study of the topics, the relevance of the topics, how much it is relevant for your study. Already you have studied in MA RD first year various social problems which relevant to the society. Here your research topic should be relevant to your interest as well as the rural sector. Then availability of the literature. You have to look into the availability of the literature of your topics which already you are going to study. Maybe there is already plenty of study has been conducted on the same topics or the same problem, but still there is gap. You have to find out the gap which you are going to concentrate on your study. Here some of the financial disposal is also involved in the study. So you have to take into consideration that you should be able to bear the financial constraints. Then feasibility of data collection within the limited time frame. Already Professor Thomas has mentioned that 72 working days. Within this limited period, you have to collect the data for your study. So you have to keep in mind, or you cannot go that within 72 working days you want more than 1000 or 2000 raw data. No, you have to concentrate that within this time frame you have to collect this much of data. Maybe it's 100, 150 or less than 100. Then distance from place to the geographical location which you are going to study. First of all, the study area and your residence should not be distanced. It has to be within which you can manage. Suppose you are staying in Delhi, or you are going to conduct a study in somewhere in Pondicherry or Tripura. No, it has to be nearer to your residence so that you can go twice, thrice, or after data collecting also. Again, you may have to go to consult whichever you have some doubts or any clarification into the field. So you have to keep in mind that distance should not be so far that you cannot manage within this limited time frame. Besides knowledge of the local language, if you know the local language, then it will be easier for you to conduct the whole study, because whole study you are planning in English. Maybe you have developed the questionnaire in English language, but when you are going to the field, they are not in position to understand your questionnaire or your questions. So you have to translate your questionnaire or interview schedule into the local languages, maybe regional languages, maybe tribal or some other local dialect. So you have to be careful about the local languages and various customs involved with them. Maybe with some tribals, they have the different customs. So you have to get acquainted with their customs, keep very good rapport with them. So it will be easier to get the various information of your study and understand their various socio-cultural and other legal aspects of their particular community or particular tribes. Besides contacts available in the local area, you have to keep in mind that you should contact with the various local authorities like panchayats, blocks and revenue office, and these are the offices you have to contact with them. So it will be easier to get you various other secondary source of data which will help you to interpret your data to prepare the final project report. So these are the factors which is really relevant to select a topic. So you have to keep in mind that these are the factors which you have to keep in mind to conduct your research or to select your final topics. Then we will go to the consultation with the supervisor. It is very important for the students as well as for the supervisor. He is not the expert of your study, but he is the expert of the research process. He will guide you how to conduct, what are the various problems can be arise during the study, during the field study. And for instance, we can say if it is relevant to some of the topics which is relevant to the community, but maybe some religious leader or community leaders, they may not like your proposal or how you are going to conduct a research, so they may oppose it. So you have to be careful all these things. And before going to the field, the supervisor is the best person to guide you all these various problems which can be arise during the investigation of your topics. Besides, the supervisor also play a role how to plan your study. When you have chosen a topics, then discuss with the supervisor. Then he can strengthen your topics, strengthen your understanding, broaden your various understanding of the area, of the time frame, and other important thing which is relevant for the study. Once you prepare a project proposal in consultation with your supervisor, it is easier to get approval or seeking guidance for further study of your topics. Besides, it is important to note that the rapport with the community where you are going to conduct a research study, it is also very important for the outcome of your study. So these are the main two things: consultation with the supervisors and selection of your topics is very important for conducting the research of your choice.
Well, students, in this 45 minutes we have already discussed about the importance of this particular course MRDP 001 and the need for studying MRD 004, which is research methods in rural development. We'll again come back to you after a 15 minutes break and talk in detail about the preparation of the project proposal and the procedures that are involved and how to go about conducting the study and submission of the report. Then it will be easier for you to go ahead doing your field work as well as translating your findings into a written document and subsequently submitting it to the university for the award of your degree. In case if you have got any doubts, in the following session which we shall have from 12 o'clock, we shall deal with all those doubts and clarifications while we continue with our discussion on the topic of research methods in rural development. Therefore, to put in brief, as I said in the beginning, get ready to prepare the project proposal with a suitable title, come out with the statement of the problem, identify the objectives, and then prepare the tools of your study which will enable you to successfully conduct this program or conduct this study in your area. One most important thing that you need to keep in mind is the translation of the tools of data collection into the local language, which will help you in communicating with the villages with a purposeful mind. Therefore, wait for 15 minutes and we will come back to you to talk more about the various aspects pertaining to research methods in rural development. Thank you.